Greetings and welcome to another installment of the Ghanongga learning series here at Lango. I'm Peter.
I'm Tyler.
And we are picking right back up where we left off. The last sentence we added in was, and the chief of the Vitu gave a cry. And we didn't.
A war cry. Yeah.
We didn't.
That's going to be.
What's that?
That's going to be that missing word. Kubokota.
Yeah, Kubokota is almost certainly war cry. And I don't know if there's another we might see it used in a different way in the future, but I feel confident go ahead and calling it war cry now. What do you think?
Yeah.
War.cry.
Yeah.
As a reminder, we put the dots between these words because it helps us know it's not two separate words. This is one meaning.
Yeah, when you see a printout, if we were ever to share this or print it, so be a good indication that it's two or it's multiple English words together giving the meaning of a single word in the original.
It's worth noting that Flex here in our text and words has a print view tab. When you go here, you can print this out, and in Flex, you can use this little arrow to hide certain things, so it doesn't have to have so many glosses between the basic sentence and the baseline sentence and the translation.
Yep. Nice.
But choosing which ones to leave isn't always that easy. So, for example, we probably need to update mana, because there we have one singular irrealis as our lexical gloss, and our word gloss is one singular future. It is stuck with the old gloss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There are several obstacles to making the print view work, in my opinion, if you want to, say, put it into a paper. However, the organization of data in Flex still makes it a valuable tool, especially at this point when we don't know still what's going on. It allows us to easily revise and keep track of what we've learned so far. So we keep doing it. And my understanding is that if you are handy with Python scripting, that it is fairly trivial, not depending on your level. If you're as low skilled as me, it's a big deal. But if you were an advanced Python user, which is a programming language, you can fairly easily make this print view into whatever you want. So it's still valuable. And I bet that there's already open source code on GitHub that can help you, though I haven't looked. All right, let's go ahead and translate our next sentence.
We have marene, which it occurs twice. It's got to be a word meaning man. Hey, I'm a man is the next sentence. What are you crying about?
So we get marene twice.
The woman of Ghanongga, that man with the white carrying the shield. Man with the white.
We get marene twice with the meaning man. Now, we've seen the meaning man occur several times so far.
That's right. Tinoni. Tio.
Yeah. So I'd be willing to bet that we don't want mana. So let me.
That's right.
I just want every time they use man in the story. And so the woman said, well, woman isn't the kind
woman
of.
Is. Yeah.
I am guessing that marene means man as in masculine or male human. It doesn't mean man in the general sense of all humans that is often used in texts. And again, this book is a bit older, so maybe some newer texts would use person instead of man in the universal sense, but not this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident to call marene man or potentially male. Let's see if there's anything else for man comes up. No. I'm going to leave that for now. In the future, we're going to look for things because marene may have a specific connotation. For example, in Roviana, there's a difference between a married man and essentially an unmarried man. And I think if you wanted to translate those to English, it would be boy and man or something like that. That doesn't really capture what happens, and it's the same for women. So the word for women in Robiana is vineki, for unmarried women, I should say. And married women is barikalenge. And puzzlingly, older woman, kalenge. So they derive the generic term for married woman from the term for elderly woman. Interesting.
Well, it could be that way, or the meanings could have shifted over time.
Almost certainly.
Specialized.
I don't want to give in to the eyelash there.
Eyelash. Very nice.
Eyelash is that I think we've mentioned this before in the blog, but that I had previously thought I'd noticed a very insightful etymology of a word in Roviana, and I was totally off mark. I learned the word fear was mata gutu, and mata is eye, and gutu is louse or lice. And I was like, oh, fear is the eye louse. That's so deep. But I eventually learned that the Proto-Oceanic word for to fear was takut, with ma, a preceding stative, and so it was matakut. Then we note the sound changes that happened and the echo vowel, and then it just looked like that, but it wasn't. So I'm not going to make any claims here on kalenge and bari kalenge, nor marene for now, but I'm on the lookout if we ever find out a distinction between marene and another type of word for man. We might see a difference between married and unmarried or something. All right. Lucania. Now I have a suspicion here that this has our third person singular agreement there, and that Lucania is cry it.
That's right. Yeah. To emote. Yeah, something like that.
The question is the word by itself for cry Lucan or Luca? Up till now, we've seen two types of third singular object agreements. One is ni, and one is ia. However, what are you crying about? What is the object there? Naza. That's great. Ia is indexing the object. But notice it's about. I think this about is giving us a hint that this is a combination of ni and ia. But I can't be for sure. Let's see if we can see Luca anywhere else in the text.
No hits.
No.
Just not enough weeping in our stories so far.
I don't know what to do with Lucania.
As far as how to segment it?
Yeah, I don't know how to segment it.
How about ao? That seems like we saw it as a directional verb. A-O. Oh. Oh, yeah. In the first text we had an owl. This one, right? I've got a space following. Kania owl.
Owl could also be the second person pronoun.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Right.
We've seen before. Ago, is that right for second person pronoun? Agoy. Let's see if we have it at all in the lexicon.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I need to search the English words. So I'm going to search glosses.
Yeah. Just click that. There you go. That cell there where it says glosses. Then it's going to alphabetize it by that column.
We're looking for two singular. Ago.
Okay. Seems very plausible that you could have ao as a variant of aho. G is a gamma sound, which is a very weak one. Could tend to be dropped. Fantastic.
Especially if it will be easily recovered by speakers. And it could be even that there's an alternation where it's present and not present depending on case. So what a puzzle. We've seen ao a couple times here. I'm not seeing it right off the top. There we go. Ao, gore, ao. Oh my goodness, there we have you again.
Come down, you. Yeah. These are.
Oh, ao basically has to be ago. What do you think?
Yeah. Feel pretty confident. We had it in text 1 as well. Put your hand inside the hole. It was that bit. So telling the giant to do something where you would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah. And
Oh.
my reasoning here was AO. I have a guess what AO means.
Reminds me of the Hawaiian vocative particle. Like hey.
Okay, what is the Hawaiian vocative particle?
Letter E.
Okay. In Roviana, they use a discourse marker, kind of like how we see several of them like ko and stuff used here, so that kind of thing. It's ego, and with a voice feeler fricative ego.
Right. Oh, I think we have that somewhere in this.
Let's have a search.
Okay. Text 2, the second paragraph has now the land of Maluku, ego being the first in the sentence.
Yeah.
Thing like now. And a couple lines below, where it's glossed as some discourse particle like that. Sort of changing focus.
And you can even see that you come down, that would be like a command now, a discourse particle now.
Now come down, you.
So it doesn't necessarily mean now in the way that this is happening right now. But yeah, I think we have a little bit of a productive process there, a lenition thing that probably people say a lot in fast speech, but not so much in careful speech. And I believe I've heard the ego shortened to AO in Roviana by storyteller Pingue. So that was what gave me a guess. Now, we should go ahead and gloss ao as second person.
Right.
But once we have enough story... What's that?
I would unite it with that other entry.
I'm going to for now. But once we have enough stories, we might want to see when we get an ago and when we get an ao. I believe at this point we get the ago in the first story and the ao in the second story, and this might be speaker variation.
Perfect.
Tyler's going to check right quick.
I certainly will.
But I'm going to make ao an allomorph of ago. And I don't even know what conditions it, so I'm just calling it allomorph. That's it. So we may end up finding out that's a dialectal variant or something case sensitive or something like that. We would then split them. So say we find out that this one has some case. Then we put two singular dot, whatever the case is, and the other one would be two singular dot, whatever the case is.
Whatever the case may be. So that g sound, it's spelled G, but it's a sound that standard English lacks. Imagine you're calling across a great distance. Are you going to hear that g? It's a pretty soft sound. If you're up close to someone, you can hear it easily, relatively, but it doesn't carry very well, is what I think.
It's hard to get the pressure to make it a loud sound. And when I try to make it loud and clear, like if I'm, say, teaching somebody about the sound that maybe he's not a linguist or something, I often find myself making something closer to a uvular trill because I make it louder. So I actually thought about this the other day, thinking back on our episodes. I kind of started inferring what some of the sounds were based on Roviana and my knowledge of Oceanic. But that might not be clear to someone working on Ghanongga who has no background in those languages. And if you were somebody trying to work on an Austronesian language you didn't know, you should probably look into whatever resources are known about the related languages. We're skipping it a little bit for fun, but also not because I knew. So from the beginning, I said, well, this G is probably a voiced feeler fricative. If you don't know the G is a voiced feeler fricative, it may have been harder to make the connection between ago and ao. But it might still be possible. Is it the case, Tyler, do you know much about Spanish?
Oh, I know a thing or two.
So I don't know too much, but I was listening to someone in my neighborhood saying the word for water. Now in Portuguese, this is agua. But it sounded to me like the G became spirantized. That means dot becomes a fricative.
It's definitely, all the voice stops do that in Spanish if a vowel is before them.
So what spirantized means is basically when a stop becomes a fricative, but it stays at the same place and the same voicing. So a voiced velar stop, we spell a G in English, a G sound. When it's in between vowels, is vulnerable cross-linguistically to becoming G. Now what's interesting here is that the G almost certainly comes from Proto-Oceanic K. So you had K become this G. Again, it's not that weird because we know that the voiced stops, what we're writing as B, D, and G, or Q, what we're writing as voice stops are actually pre-nasalized voice stops. When voicing exists on a spectrum, right? So in English, we do not even voice our initial consonants ever. So what's written as B, D, G in English are not voiced initially at the beginning of words. They are devoiced. So how do we distinguish them between our voiced and voiceless consonants? Our voiceless stops are aspirated word initially. And the aspiration is like the opposite of voicing. It's the farthest end of the devoicing spectrum is aspiration. It will prevent voicing to start on the vowel for a long time, called a voice onset time. Conversely, prenasalization is as voiced as you can possibly get.
Nice.
Right? Because you start voicing the nasal part before you even start the stop. And nasalization allows you to voice before you even start the sound. So what happens is you have this two-way stop distinction between voiceless stops and pre-nasalized stops. And it's very easy for the voiceless stops to have voicing allophones, particularly in certain environments, intervocalically, things like this, because voicing doesn't matter as much. And when you're spirantizing, it's a lenition, meaning it becomes more like environment, and becoming a fricative becomes even more like its environment. So that is probably how we get, what we're writing as V is really a voiced bilabial fricative, and it probably comes from P historically. And what we're writing as G is a voiced velar fricative, and it most likely comes from K historically.
Let's do a bit more.
Yeah. All right, we can easily enough add in Pandolako, that's a name, so we'll just call it that, and we'll make sure it's a proper noun. And you might feel like, well, should names go in the dictionary? Do we want these names in the dictionary? Absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely. Okay. Pandolako. One of the reasons we want the names in there is that's something you want to preserve. So if our Flex file, and maybe we will write a little description later, becomes part of the archive data, Ghanongga documentation, or Kubokota if they decide to claim this as the same language, which I think it is, then this would be a reservoir of things like names. It's also very valuable for that. All right, and Lucania, what do we want to do here? Do you want to leave it, or?
I'm tempted to say you bemoan it or something, or just cry about would be good.
Well, I'm wondering about the split here. Is it Nia or Ia?
I would have guessed that it's Ia, but you make an intriguing proposal that it could be Luca plus Nia. So let's leave it for now.
I hate to do it, but we should leave this for now. I might put in a gloss, cry about.
Yeah,
A word gloss, cry about. This needs to be a dot in there, right?
No, on this level, just spaces are just fine.
Oh yeah, I can see it there for he said it. We've got space.
Yeah.
All right, so this is I think this is the first one we've done a word gloss, but we have not actually created a lexical entry.
Could be, but doesn't seem so to me. What about the ani ara in the one above, 8-4?
I think we have for now been pushing ani ara for later because it's very hard to figure what's going on.
Agree.
And as for ani ara here, oh, I know what ara means. I'm so dumb. It's like this morning I woke up and understood what owl means. You know, you think about something for a long time and you're like,
yeah.
If you force yourself to sit down and think about stuff, you'll immediately know. But no, I sleep however many weeks and suddenly all of a sudden I have a very good guess what "ata" means. Let's use our concordance and see if we can.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use the actual text concordance. the flex concordance, I mean, I'm going to look for all instances of ara.
So that concordance results, we get quite a lot.
I'll tell you the way it is with the Maluku tribe. So there we have one.
Story.
One ara only.
Right.
So it's not giving us that option.
I wonder, that doesn't make any difference. How about a space
You did
before
make
it?
Oh, I need a space before and after to get what we want.
I don't know about, hold off on after for a moment, because I don't know about how it'll treat punctuation. And then click search.
We want after. We'll look at it for now, and then we can do another one to weed them out.
Oh, just 5, okay. Nice and clean. That's right. Same as I get in the spreadsheet here.
We get ara in a sentence where we have every word except ara, and it says, "I'll tell you the way it was with the Maluku tribe."
Being okay.
This probably doesn't reveal it, but if you already had my hypothesis,
I'm intrigued. Yeah, let's see if I can.
Yeah, I'm going to let you solve it, and then we'll see if we agree. Our next instance of ara.
All right, we don't have that one input
yet. We don't have
a
free translation for that yet. That's 15.2.
They're all in this text now. The others are in paragraphs that we've input already. But yeah, let's take a look briefly.
So that sentence is
15.
The
penultimate sentence. They were the crazy ones of the Maluku, the crazy pair of people I've been passing on to you. Okay, to you. What do you know? Let's do the next.
Gigalariarara. To me, this is extremely clear. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling so confident in my hypothesis now. All right, the next one we have, they came from Rauru to do battle with the village of Rinjo Bangara, which was the Maluku main village. Where are the crazy ones, they said, for they had already heard the story I am telling you.
Telling whom? It doesn't say you in the English there, but it's I'm telling to you.
Okay. Next example, she saw the death of the village and her relatives, and so the woman said, "Gosh, they've killed all my relatives. If there's so many men, how do I get food?"
No, if there are no men, how do I get food?
If there are no men, how do I get food?
Okay. Not a slam dunk if it means to you, which is my
Finally, hey, I'm a man, and this one made it extremely obvious to me.
Okay. All right. Let's go through them again.
You don't want me to tell you the hypothesis?
Let's see them again, and then please tell me.
Okay, sentence 1, I'll tell you the way it was with the Maluku tribe.
Okay.
Sentence 2, they were the crazy ones, the crazy pair of people I have been passing. No, I'm not quite in the right sentence now, am I? No, I think I am.
15, yeah. The way the concordance orders it is alphabetically by text and sentence number. So 1 is followed by 15 and then 6.
Yeah, I was meaning the right translation here from our sheets. Third, they come from Rauru to do battle with the village of Rinjo Bangara, which was the Maluku main village.
Sorry,
I am the crazy ones, they said, for they had already heard the story I'm telling you.
I think I see it. Let's do all of them again. Fourth one.
We do get ara with ani a lot, but I believe solving ari will help us with ana. Solving ara will help us with ani.
How do I get food? Okay, got it.
You figured it out?
I feel so. Let's just go to the very last one, 8-4. Oh, visible there. I am a man. All right, it is a pronoun for me and I.
100%. 100%. It's first person singular. That is my guess. I'm sticking with it. Have we seen this before? We're going to go check the lexicon. Now, we should have our lexicon. Yes, it's already. So we have. Now, we get first singular in when it comes with things that have inflection. So we get possessives. We get a subject in this case, I guess. Now, I'm guessing this subject marker. Right? That's our pre-verbal thing. I'm guessing there is some inflection on this. We just haven't figured it out yet. And what's going on with ada? Ada, I admit I'm even a little bit embarrassed I didn't spot this earlier. But somehow seeing this, hey, I'm a man. Where was that?
Arian.
And thinking about ao from ago, from agoi. So Roviana ago is agoi. And it doesn't shorten to ao, it shortens to goi. because they have this other thing where they insert vowels before certain things, so it's reanalyzed as, oh, that vowel's not underlined. That's my hypothesis. Tyler, I'm embarrassed to tell you what the first person singular pronoun is in Roviana.
Is it Ngara or something?
Arau.
Wow.
But usually written as rao because they delete these first vowels. So, so yeah, I don't know why that escaped me till just now, but it was like it could be so many things, and so many things are going on in Ganoqa, and it's so different. And we hadn't seen this used this way, I thought, up till now. And I was like, hey, I'm a man. And it was, what is the I part? There's you have the man. It must be this. So this is one singular. And this is the actual free pronoun, I believe.
Right.
I'm going to call it pro form. And
Ani could be a verb be.
I think it looks like a be verb in this sentence, although I don't know if we can figure out what it is overall. I think we may be closer to solving the Ani mystery.
I think so. Yeah, we have it in the first paragraph of this text. People from early times say Maluku was a crazy tribe. So copula, a be verb would fit very well there.
All right, I'm searching the. Yeah, I'm searching the concordance now.
Total of 9, maybe. Can you do this? It's a little hard to. That blue heading where it says concordance results, there's a thin gray margin above it. Can you put the cursor on the margin above, so the horizontal one, above the word concordance result? Yeah, you can move that bar up. We can see more results at a time. Perfect.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, looks like we get the same 9. Okay.
So our first sentence with Ani that we don't know, Yigala, we never solved Yigala.
But not tribe, us, cause, it could be to know.
So, right, we were stuck on whether it means no, tell, something like this. Okay.
But they tell it Pamoa. Moa, interesting. Probably not a chicken.
Let's look at the next one, because this one isn't helping us out as much as we would like.
Sentence initial is the next one.
Now, the land of the Maluku began at...
No, not that sentence. It's not that sentence. It's the one. It's the following.
There we are. The space was the land of the Maluku.
Land. Beautiful.
Really looks like a be verb right there with the article before it.
Following it.
We've got an exists already. Now that one we don't have. So I'm actually going to bounce over to our text here and look for Ani.
That's 9 hits there, yeah.
9 hits. So we went to look for them, and those which stayed quietly outside by the hole he didn't take. He thrust his hand in to get the... So Ani might mean something like stay, which could also be existential or be.
Just like in Korean, yes.
Or just like in Solomon Pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
Me stop logia. I live here.
Stop. How nice.
He saw till he saw that deep pool as big as an island, sat and drank and drank.
Can you scroll down a bit? It doesn't quite show up for me. Thank you.
But the stream wasn't properly by. Now, if this Ani comes before, there you have Ura.
Is that the stream? No, it's not.
Not quite in the right spot for it to be the beaver, but that doesn't mean it's not.
Ura is I think it's gonna be another word for I, another pronoun form. Ara, Ura.
Well, no. The pathesis maybe.
No, that doesn't fit there. Never mind.
Yeah, I think we might still have some problems with Ani figuring out what it is, but something like stop or exist or be is not a bad guess. The taste is so sweet. Let me get Ura Ani again. Ura Ani again. Ngabutia, so buti should be C. No, we've got a different word there. Ngabut. All right. Because of what he'd done, the clam had closed sight.
Oh, Nabut could be do.
I think Ngabutia na temokoko is closed it, the clam. That's what I think it is. Urako probably is because.
Because. Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ko is kind of like a by or so
Yes, that's right.
thing.
Agreed.
So I'm guessing Urako, and we still haven't solved Ura. And I think because Ura and Ara, I think that's the reason it took me so long to see it, is I was like, I thought they were connected. Whereas now I don't think they're connected. Although I'm not, wouldn't
No,
be,
sir. That's right.
I'm agnostic, could be. But as soon as I didn't think that, then I was able to solve Ara pretty quickly. Gigala. No, this is the one we already saw. Hey, I'm a man.
There we are.
I hate to say it, I think we need to leave
Yeah, maybe so.
Ani for a while because we just don't know. So we're going to go back and keep translating and figure out a few more words as we go. The sentence starts with Tekwa.
Got to keep in mind, of course, that there could be 2 or more homophonous words. So we shouldn't demand that it be a single stable meaning for all of the instances of a word form.
I think we've seen for sure that ko has at least 2 meanings, maybe 3. All right, let's see what we can learn from this one. The sentence in English is, he took his shield and his battle axe with the hair. He went up toward would you put an M?
Yeah. There's a typo in our document. Here, I suppose we could get rid of the brackets if you want. I just wanted it to be, that information to be preserved somewhere.
I like it because maybe we're wrong and maybe it would make sense. It could be the, and then the noun is missing, and then with it. So
yeah. Just
so it's good because it allows us to take a step back just in case. Okay.
This is page 18. I'm just going to check that real quick. With the shield, let's get the rest of that sentence in English though. Went up toward them with the shield of his, with the white hair. Pandulako with the white hair.
So we get hair and white hair in here a couple times. The first time you get hair by itself, and then you get white hair twice. So
Wonderful.
We should be able to figure out if that's faithful. I don't think it is. I think it's I think there's one word for shield with white hair, and people know what it is.
Right. Interesting idea.
Capture their nange.
Capture
Manja
it.
moku.
He didn't capture his shield. He took it.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I'm thinking there.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
He took it. We have tekwa as one word, not teku-a.
No, it's not necessarily. No, there you go.
Should be
Tekuya.
capture it instead of capture.
Let's say here. Let's say took it.
I'm gonna say take it. Oop. I can't spell this morning. Take it. Go back to gloss. Okay, Nana there. So he took his shield and battle axe with the hair. Manjamoku. And we get Tanamoku. And Keka we get twice. So Tanamoku Keka, Varungu Keka. So Keka's white hair.
Pandulako with the white hair, right? All together there at the end. Keka to Vurumu is just once there. Vurumu. Keka probably is white hair. Manja could be hair.
Or Varungu is hair. Moku is almost certainly axe. What do you think?
Which one? Sorry, which one? Vurumu? Battle axe?
Yeah.
Which do you think is the axe?
Moku.
Moku.
I think Moku is axe and Nange is shield.
But we have Moku twice in this sentence. And Nanga also twice. Never mind.
Oh no, it's the we get he took his shield and battle axe with hair. And then we went up the shield of his with the hair. So there's Moku is hair then? I thought that for sure Moku was going to... Moku seems like a word for axe. But now I see axe is only once in the translation. I'm starting to think manja is axe.
In the spreadsheet, do a search for moku. It comes up again 2 lines. Oh, you don't even have to search. It's just 2 lines below. And in that sentence, the woman of Nangu saw, she thought that that man with the white carrying the shield.
So it's either white or shield. Now Moku Keka.
Those are together. Yeah.
Then we get Marene Na. So that's man. His it
carrying
white shield, white hair shield.
Nange. Nange is, I think Nange is going to be the shield. Only in these 2 sentences. Why do I think that? Pogozia Nange. Pogos might be the root meaning carry.
Go for Rinja Bangara. Yeah, so,
Reach. Ooh, that's interesting that he reaches Rinjam Bangara. The me might be something indicating completion of the act of going. Milao.
Me has puzzled us before because I assumed it's from Gami, but doesn't look like it is.
Could be multiple me's.
Let's look for Keka right quick.
I'll allow it.
You only get 2. It's the same 2 sentences. So, you get Moku and Keka in sentences with shield and white hair. Where else do we get Nange?
Just these 2.
Just these 2. Very helpful. Okay, so it's not going to be easy to solve.
And his battle axe. Could manja mean and?
I don't see why it couldn't mean and. It does seem to be a connective.
Specifically,
Diarrhea. Zai is maybe. I don't think it's related to third singular because you get third singular before cause.
Zai, we have Azai all over the place in the first story. Zai and Azai, meaning so or then, something like that.
Yeah, you want to say they're connected. I mean, I agree, but you cause so them, and that's he went up toward them. I think it's in the same category as Lao and Mai and Atu. Have we seen Atu? Then Zai is another kind of directional verb type thing, and you cause towards them. He caused towards them with his shield of white hair, and then you get Nange Tana Moku Keka. So it's shield, Tana is its, Moku is hair, Keka is white. Guessing?
Sounds good to me. That all sounds very plausible. Vurumu. Vurumu is a little puzzling. With the white hair. Maybe a verb.
Yeah, you get Moku twice there. He took his shield and battle axe with the hair, and then with the shield with the white hair, and you get white twice. You get hair technically 3 times in the translation. But it would be possible that Keka is just white. Moku is hair. And so in the first one, they don't say white hair. They just say the shield with the hair. And then shield with the white hair. Shield of his with the white hair. No, so Tana is his. Nange Tana. Shield his. Because they aren't using Nana. Yeah, okay. So, and it's not going to be Nange Na because it's alienable. Wait, we see Marena. Let me translate one more sentence.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and the woman of Nango saw, she thought that the man with the white
man
carrying the shield reached Ringo Bangara. Now, you get Marena Na. Now, we've decided Marena is no problem man. All right, let's go back.
That man.
All right. So she thought that man with the white. So if hair is moku and keka is white, why am I bringing up this difference between tana moku and zam and marenena is because the na that goes at the end is for inalienable things. So we've seen it used in this context for body parts.
Right. The crab early on, yeah.
Right. The shield is not a body part, but the hair is. So
good stuff.
Look, I thought the translation was just confusing. He went up towards the man with the shield of his with the white hair. Pandulako with the white hair. And then here the man has white hair. So I don't know what to do with all this, Tyler.
I
am starting to think Moku is hair and Keka is white, though.
Well, do we see nouns and adjectives much in any of our texts? Could we maybe discern that there's a stable order for those things? English likes to put the adjectives before the noun most of the time. Spanish likes to have them follow the noun most of the time.
So, generally speaking, languages in which a verb precedes an object, whether that's subject-verb-object order or verb-object-subject or verb-subject-object order, in most cases, the adjective will follow the noun in those languages. English does not because of facets of its history in which the object preceded the verb.
It's a good story.
I feel very confident that adjectives generally follow nouns in Ghanongga, but there are probably exceptions. And I don't recall off the top of my head a specific example, but I do believe we've seen adjectives follow nouns already in Ghanongga in one of our first 15 videos. So that's why I can't immediately search for it, but I do believe that is the case. And one of the biggest hints here is that we get with the hair, but no mention of white hair, and then we get white twice in the second thing. So I'm feeling pretty good about Moku as hair.
I'm just going to scan the text we've covered and look for any clear cases of noun and adjective working together in a phrase. Why don't we input a few more sentences?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking I was going to do.
Let this head scratch aside for a moment.
And we've got Kokona si za abad.
It says, the Maluku was a crazy tribe at the beginning of this text. That might be good support.
Well, even Bunbutu Maluku, every Maluku tribe.
Yeah, not a slam dunk for an adjective though. But in the second sentence at the top of this one, they tell us the Maluku were a crazy tribe. Nambutubutu Tuturu. Tuturu is the crazy or mentally defective one, and it follows its noun. It's going to be 1, 2.
1, 2, so we can see it on screen.
Yeah, let's do that.
Butu Pamaluku Zata Ponjana Butu Tuturu.
They, us, the tribe crazy.
It does seem like adjectives follow nouns, which kind of maybe is already what we were just saying, but it validates our assumption that Mokukeka is probably hair white.
Same order in the following sentence there. Crazy tribe. Tribe crazy.
Not for certain, though.
The crazy.
Some other interesting stuff here, too. And the woman, she thought, as it's like an aside.
That's the Zagwa here, I think.
That's the Zagwa. That's what I was going to say. It seems. And the woman was like, she thought, like. Yeah, so I think it's really cool and neat that in this western province of Solomon Islands, languages, at least Roviana and Ghanongga, and I'm assuming some others, you get this kind of similar reported speech like as you do in English. It's a universal tendency. It is not because English has affected them so much. It happened before English had affected these languages. So Moku Keka. We have no gloss here for this. I think for marene na, the word gloss I might put as man apostrophe s.
Hands. Hmm.
So we preserve some of the meaning, or we could just put man.
Yeah, I think it's someone else's man. I think the man is the possessed, not the possessor. Don't you?
Yeah,
'Cause
that would make more sense.
on the body parts in that crab a bit in the first story, it was always its
Yeah.
shell that had the na suffix, its legs, its body.
That's right.
Possessed gets the na.
So it's literally the thing possessed by the shield. Or is it the thing possessed by the white hair? Shall
Let's
we
come
put
back.
man as our gloss for now, or what do you think?
Let's put man for that one, yeah. Okay.
Well,
We can-
we don't know for the
we can-
rest.
Right. Nange shield, I feel the most certain about for all these nouns in this stretch of the text.
Okay, so we have one. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot, is why this is happening this way. Okay. Thought I'd add in this
So-
next.
She thought, the choiceful people strike him down. Look, she thought, so go those of Choizel. So they manja. Was that what it was just now? Manja that I thought was and? Probably not and. Manja?
Where do you see
In the-
manja?
8,
Oh, down
9,
here,
right
8,
below
9.
the number. Yeah. Valotu, cause to fall and go down. Strike him.
So go them.
Ria parauru is a phrase together. Those from Choizel. Manja looks more like strike. Looks striking
So how
here.
many times do we get battle axe in here?
In 8-6 we had manja. Oh, it is verb and noun.
But I thought we had a verb and noun thing for axe last time, or did we just never fill it in? Did we go through this last time with verb and axe? And
We could have an axe verb and a cudgel verb.
checking out our lexicon right quick. I'm going to look for axe and strike.
There we no battle.
We never put in axe.
It was a few lines above where we are here.
Looking for strike. I don't see strike either. So I think we just last time didn't decide on it, but I think that we already were kind of leaning towards manja being axe.
Is that right? 3 hits for manja here. Could have been that one. Battleaxe. Killed manja. Okay. In paragraph 7 was the first manja we come across. Koreko manja huke palini parauru. One man went down and was killed by the Choizels. Beginning of 7? No. After that. No, right after that. 7-4.
He's killed by the Choizels. I think here, I think it's axe. I think there's cultural knowledge that you're killing people, that axing is killing people, and axe may be a preferred weapon in this range. There actually are a lot of Pacific weapons. At the Harvard Peabody Museum, they had an art of war exhibit, at least when I was there, and they had many interesting weapons from the Pacific including things that look kind of like a sword, except the blade was all shark teeth.
Wow, cool.
And they come from various places across the Pacific and stuff, but I would say axe is a pretty core one, and axe seems to be an important word in the Borneo languages and Solomon and Western Solomon languages that I've studied so far. So I am down to think that manja is axe.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going on. Let's go ahead and analyze this here. I'm not going to analyze it as a noun or a verb.
Right. One of those shifters or
we do this a bit in English, like you can axe the job, something like that.
Right.
We still use it a little bit, but maybe not as much as we probably did at one time when axes were more important in our culture.
We do with other nouns for weapons that we verb, club a thing.
Knife.
Yeah, to knife. Right there you go. To cudgel. To
I believe it's pronounced cuddle, so I don't think that's a weapon, Tyler, but okay. Okay, that's a joke. Cudgel's a word in case you don't know. I'm just being silly, dear listener.
for a weapon.
Okay, so nange seems like shield.
That's my feeling too.
Moku and nange in this sentence. So I think nange is shield. We're going to try to solve this after all.
Yeah. There.
Is this an I before E case?
It is.
Shield. Pretty clear it's a noun, but
It could. Now, shield is also used as a verb in English. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. To shield someone from something. No, the way it has manja moku, battle axe with hair, looks like moku is just hair.
Moku is hair, keka is white. That's my guess.
Yeah, that would fit with the word order we saw above. Not a lot of. It's interesting.
Moku from Hawaiian at all? I do not believe they're related, but Hawaiian has a false friend, I believe.
I don't know such a word in Hawaiian.
So moku is, if you're on Oahu, for example, there's little islands offshore. Those are called mokus. So they're not, I don't mean like the little exposed reef islands. I mean like they have a little kind of mountain in the middle or something.
Okay.
And I believe that when the European ships started coming, they started calling them moku as well, because they were big like that and they were just offshore. That's my understanding. If you are a Hawaiian expert, please write in. We would love to talk to a Hawaiian teacher or something from Hawaii. If you would want to join us, we'd have a special podcast episode for you. It'd be wonderful. If you're listening and you want to tell us more about moku, I'm just giving a brief rundown. Moku is used in Hawaiian in mokulele. Now, if you know the word ukulele,
you don't.
So uku is lice. What does lele mean?
Jump.
Jumping. What do you think jumping moku is?
Islands that move up and down.
You're getting very close. It sounds even better that way.
Don't get it though. What is
airplane.
Oh, cool.
Now, this use of calling the European ship, the boats from the 1800s or before, as the same thing as the airplane, I noticed this in Roviana. In Roviana, they have the word tapuru for fly instead of lele. They have tapuru. So they have a snake they call Noki tapuru. It's a flying snake. You think ground snakes are scary. I'm just joking. I think they fall out of trees and that's why they're flying. In any case, they have this word vaka, which comes from Polynesian boats. We've talked about vaka before. Vaka tapuru is airplane in Roviana. So that is an aside on moku, just an interesting word. I'm sorry, dear listener, if you're dying for us to get to work and solve this faster. Same kind of people.
You can easily just fast forward to the interesting bit.
Just watch it at 2x speed or whatever. And the problem is the people who are good at solving words like this are also very curious about words and going to stop and talk about them. So it's a trade-off. Keka is white, I'm guessing. It's probably keka. I'm schwaing the final vowel because it's my tendency in English. So I'm going to call that white. Pretty happy with how this is turning out. Tana, I'm believing, is his.
Yeah.
But it's really not his. It's his or her. It's its. It's gender neutral. So, that's not a variant. I'm going to create it and call it third singular dot pause. And I believe we should already have something there.
Yes, we have na and nana.
Nana is what you would expect,
Nana and Tana,
I think, but now we know Nana is more like a there, this type thing. So Nana was an earlier, third singular was an earlier sense of Nana. Tana shows us a little bit of a difference here. I'm going to call this third singular dot pause, and I'm not even going to resolve the Nana issue until we enter a few more stories and we really understand how possession works. And we might not know from stories. So that would be something, if we'd write a list, all right, we get access to a Ghanongga speaker, say via Zoom for an hour. Let's ask about Nana and Na and Tana.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call this third singular possessive. And the gloss for here, I'm going to put as his, because that matches the English. This is the word gloss.
Okay.
even though we know it's is a better gloss, we're trying to make it accessible to us, say,
That's
a
right.
month from now, if we forget to work on this or something. We want to be able to come back and understand what's going on. Now, Zai must mean something like towards. I'm going to go do a quick search in our sheet.
I have
And
a
I'm
lot
going to
of
put it by itself. We get it 3 times.
Okay. All right. 5 times.
Sorry, 5 times. I'm
Oh,
on the
third.
third example.
That means
Now,
third.
here's a good reason to think, and this first one that comes up, that Zai and Azai are not the same word. Because you get Azai Zai. I think it would be unlikely they would reduplicate that and then have these special roots. So I think Azai and Zai are coincidentally similar. And there we get they went out. And we get Zyria. So probably went out them. It's some sort of directional verb pretty clearly.
Ooh, how nice. Yeah, great.
And there we get Tokaria koge Zai Ravea. They started out and went to catch the swirling bonito.
Wonderful.
It's something like embark almost.
Yeah, that's right. Go out.
They went out.
Go out and start doing, right? Zai to
Has already gone and dived a clam.
that could be a different Zai in paragraph 10 that you got highlighted there. Dived a clam and had brought it up for grilling over an open fire.
I don't think so. I think that it's a perfect example of how directionals are used as verbs and other things because they have it as grilling over an open fire. But paraparago is either continuous, but look, I think the na paraparago is like the event of cooking over an open fire, and it's syntactically a noun, and they went towards it.
Very good.
They went towards it. They'd already embarked upon it.
Yeah.
His white hair. It has to be embark towards motion, went out, go. I think in this case, English is deficit of motion verbs compared to Ghanongga, and we are going to have a hard time glossing all these motion verbs. But we have identified Zai, and we should give ourselves a hint for the future. What should we call it?
I like your embark kind of, even though the literal meaning of embark is to board a ship or a boat, but it's used much more metaphorically in English now. Yeah. Beginning some action, set out to do something.
Embark on study or whatever. And now, if you can imagine that you lived in one of the most complex lagoon systems on Earth and embarking was a daily part of your life, you might use it a lot more metaphorically than if probably you've maybe never been on a boat. So I'm not saying you've never been on a boat, Tyler. I'm sure you've had great experiences. But probably not to the level of somebody who lives and dies by the boat. So I'm going to go ahead and go with embark. They have similar,
not so boaty,
kind of terminology in Roviana. And I admit I struggle to fully understand the semantic subtleties and nuances because of my own cultural deficit here. I'm going to call it embark. We may need to update that later, but for now, it gives us a sense of what's going on. And in this sentence, which we said we're going to have to come back to later, we spent 40 minutes or so working on one sentence, but
that much,
but we solved many. I'm exaggerating a little bit. So the listener can measure it for themselves with the scrubber, but we've not just solved one sentence. Flex has gone in and filled in a bunch of other things in other stories. We know a lot more. Now we're down to one thing, Vurumu.
What do you think?
I'm wondering if there's a difference between animal hair and human hair. And Moku could be animal hair and Vurumu could be human hair.
What a great idea.
It's an idea. I don't know. I remember reading in Borneo languages about this, meaning I read Bob Blust's field notes. Not that I have read Blust's work more or less, but I've studied with Blust personally, and if you studied with him personally, you know he basically reads to you in class. So I mostly let the author read chapters of the book to me. Which, come on, he should have done an audiobook, but he would never waste his time with that. Just straight working on Austronesian all day. Serious business. Vurumu might be animal hair or human hair.
Human.
So Moku might also be feathers.
Right. Non-human body covering. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. But let's make
non-human body keratin expressions or whatever. So I don't know what voodoo is. Is there any resource we can appeal to try to settle this? Well, let's look at the Roviana dictionary and see if there's anything like it. Oh my goodness, the last thing we were talking about was axe. I was certain we were very close to the manja business. You get maho. Now, if Roviana, maybe the J went to H, or maybe these are completely unrelated words. I mean, the vowel alternation is a bit weird. We're going to start off with feathers. No, that gave us multiple for feathers.
Lima 5, how nice. Uzala with feathers.
Let's look for Vurunu.
Or just voodoo, because that one has a velar nasal.
Well, there we get voodoo voodoo. Oop, I'm covering it. I can't see it.
The fringe. The fringe. What a great match, potentially. What a great candidate.
Voodoo doesn't exist. Let's look what they have for hair. Now, I know some hair words. Zapuru, set of uncombed hair.
It doesn't mean hair. It's some adjective-like thing describing it. Of hair, same.
Vurisi.
When well combed after being
limed. Of well-homed care after being limed. What does being limed mean, Tyler?
Does it involve the fruit called the lime, or is it something else?
I do not believe it involves the fruit called a lime.
I have never encountered this word.
So,
but I suspect some kind of treatment of one's hair.
Yes. So I'm not sure if I got everything right. I know the effects of it are to make the hair look lighter in color. So it's kind of like bleaching your hair. And I believe it's from they make it from ground up petrified coral or something like that. Okay. Let's check it right quick. I hate to use Google because spoils the fun a little bit. And you have to go down these rabbit holes because it's starting to matter clearly whether hair is limed or not. And notice they're talking about the white hair. So how would the chief, a man strong enough to go fight all the Raudu, how would he have white hair? How would he have a head full of white hair already? Well, you're a very old man by the time you get one. Now, I have a head full of white hair. I'm only 38. But that's not typical in Western Solomons, as far as I know. So, lime hair. I'm going to look up lime hair. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, lime color.
No, this is not.
Add a D there if you would, limed.
I'm going to look up Solomon Islands. Limed hair, Solomon Islands. Okay, now what it's showing us is blonde-haired children from Solomon Islands, which it's true.
Caused by an amino acid change. Okay, they mean naturally blonde. They have naturally light hair.
This is naturally blonde hair. What we want to say is put lime in hair, Solomon Island. It's helping us. Curried coconut and lime gourd soup. Okay, so it's not a.
Some ads up top. Never mind though. Drawings from.
Okay, had the odor of anise and lime, which they put in their hair. The moment he puts the first call slip for Maori and Solomon Islands drawings from 1967 JSTOR. We're not going to bother looking at.
All right.
Locally common practice to bleach the hair using lime. All right, this is Easter Island, published in 1917. So this is a somewhat common thing in Oceanic. Lime stained hair. We're getting it. Okay, let's see if it'll show us. I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for looking at this. But I've read this a lot. I think this.
Lime oil, that's probably the fruit.
That's probably the fruit. So another thing we can do, we can search this for lime.
Mm-hmm. Zapuru.
There'll be a word for it.
Binu.
Binu, the general name for coral, burnt for lime, for use on hair and for chewing.
Yep.
Yep. So, Dhaka, a gourd used for lime bottles, etc. So, what's going on with lime? Why are people walking around carrying basically ground up coral? It looks white, by the way.
Yeah.
It has acid in it. What's going on? What's the deal? Okay. The most popularly used psychoactive substance in the entire world is called betel nut.
Uh-huh.
Now, many listeners may not know what betel nut is because it's not as popular in North America and Europe. But it is pretty popular in part of the English-speaking world. My understanding is very popular in India. Okay, so betel nut is the fruit of the areca tree, specifically the immature fruit. So before it hardens, it is soft inside, and you can chew it, and it has a mild psychoactive effect. I don't care to even attempt to describe it. If you're curious, I believe it's legal. Go try it and see what you think. Now, in our culture here in the United States, it's common for people to drink coffee in the morning.
Yes.
But only barbarians drink coffee by itself, right? What goes with coffee is milk and sugar, right? Now, I drink mine with just milk. And I know that there are many great people who drink it with no milk and no sugar. But there is something extra about coffee and milk together, right? And so it is with betel nut. You want to have the whole thing put together. You need the betel nut, then the leaf, which I believe is a mustard leaf, and also maybe like little seed packets or something. I noticed that the leaf can be different depending on where you go. What I had the Solomon Islands was one thing, and I asked for leaf. I don't know what it is, so I believe it's some sort of mustard leaf or mustard, like before it becomes a flower or whatever. That's what I think. And the lime, and you mix the three together, and that's what's the coffee and cream and sugar. It makes it all good together. And that practice probably been going on an extremely long time, and lime has other uses, of course. We talk about it quite a bit at the university, but it's very hard and not practical, and not very respectful, honestly, to try to separate a language from its culture when you're trying to learn about the language, especially the way we are. How are we going to even understand what's going on? So, keka probably means white. Moku probably means something like hair. Vurumu might mean limed hair.
That could be, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to leave Vurumu unanswered for now. Unless you want to put human hair or something like this. We aren't getting a very good guess from the Roviana dictionary. We could go look at the Austronesian Comparative Dictionary and see if there's any historical hints.
I'd say let's go on to here today now, but
Agreed.
I think I kind of disagree that the Roviana dictionary didn't have any good comparanda, any good similar items. There were several with vur in them, V-U-R, meaning fringe. We saw.
Yeah, let's go right to vur in the dictionary. The search function isn't helping me the way I want to. Now, this dictionary has two Roviana dictionaries basically in a row, so you can get yourself in trouble. We're going to have to go check two V sections. What happened is the first is a dictionary, and the second one is a natural history items thing.
Cool. There we go. We're getting closer.
There we're getting there.
Vuvunu, was it at the beginning? Vur.
So it'd be there if it was going to be. But I think that this is the natural history section if we go up to the regular.
Okay. I think it's going to be. That's interesting that it's two dictionaries in sequence. Now, the italicized N, is that the velar?
Oh, what am I doing here? I'm having a hard time with my.
Sorry,
that was that was unrelated to our. Yeah, the italicized N here is the velar in regular text, but in the italicized text, it's so this is tumu.
That's right.
So they
got it.
It was a convention.
Yikes!
Not really defending the convention. It's just one of them. Okay. You know what I just saw?
I do not.
Ura.
Ooh, my.
Because for seeing that for as much.
Oh.
I think that works pretty well.
Maybe let's just go back to that real quick and leave the vurungu to the side. Ura is going to be more consequential, probably.
I think Ura is going to be consequential. I'm going to go back to the concordance and look within Flex itself. We're going to look for Ura. We're going to see, could a for or because or the other things, could that possibly help us out here? We have it as but already? Did we already solve but Ura?
Golly.
It was Ani that we didn't solve.
But it couldn't hold. Scroll up just a little bit so we can get that whole sentence. I guess that's the beginning. Came down the sago palm. So it smashed them. So they squashed completely them. And then they couldn't hold it. Because it would fit well there. Yeah. Because they couldn't hold it. They couldn't catch it. All right.
We've already got kind of a but meaning.
So now, where did you get that, my three grandchildren?
Did we have an idea of using ani for now also?
Don't recall. Wow. So now. Oh, it could be therefore.
Okay, we get...
But where? Okay, there it seems to be but.
Well, you know, we're negotiating across languages that use these conjunctions very differently. So but works okay.
For that one
Because
text,
of what he'd done, the clam had closed tight.
I think we could be looking at a speaker difference, usage in these idiolects, the two storytelling.
Agree. So we'd already solved Uda, but it was still cool to see it in the Roviana dictionary. And I wouldn't say we've totally solved it. And you know what idea I have now?
As much.
Let's look for ani right quick.
Hold on, though. If you look at those meanings there in the Roviana, it goes in multiple ways. Seeing that means due to it being so. But because it's going in the other direction, to my understanding.
I'm going to put a note in our lexicon then that says in Roviana, Uda is because for seeing that for as much. I'll just put the whole thing in there. Make it a little smaller so I can see it. We'll go into our lexicon. So I'm going to press Control click. Go into Uda. Make this part smaller, please. All right. Word gloss is but. Oh, I need to be in lexicon. I don't know how I don't even know what I was doing in the other thing. Head word. Uda. So now I'm going to say definition, but note in Roviana, the meaning is because for seeing that for as much, one word, Waterhouse Jones. So I put the year right on there. We'll go up to the top and double check the year. And the problem is it's 1949 for Jones, but the original one by Waterhouse was much earlier than that. So I'm going to put 1949 as my year, just so we could potentially find this in the future if we need to.
That's always good.
I've actually looked at, that's Lina Jones. I've looked at her original handbook. A community leader in Gizo, Tequila McFarland, showed it to me. She has showed me many things about Lina Jones and told me much about her work, and I was extremely impressed, both with Tiki, of course, and Lina. So that's an interesting story. Not what we're working on today, though. All right, so let's see where we are. I think we're going to leave. What's that?
So are we down that far? Moku cake. Okay. Doro. That's right. Okay. Yeah. No, never mind. And so the chief of the V2 was killed, who had married into the Maluku Zuke. To be killed. Yeah, he died. Is that one? Tavitindi. Is it a na before that? Not Tavitindi. Yes, it is. Yes, his marrying it is.
Who relatived them, the Malukus. Who their relative, them.
Those of the Maluku, yep.
So I'm going to put their relative. It's just going to be confusing, I understand, but we're preserving a little bit of information there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Zauke. We know uke is dead,
Die, something, yeah.
and we already
Dead.
have ZC, excuse me, as a variant. So this one is quite literally he dead. I'm gonna call it he dead. All right. Nana. So non-C should be something from Nana. We've got the Ani right afterwards, so we're seeing a pretty good pattern here. This is a variant of Nana. But don't we have another meaning of Nana, which is...
Maybe go to the lexicon real quick.
We've got a problem here.
Do a control click on that entry.
I should have done that. Well, I'm going to scroll through now that I'm already here.
All right. Just, okay. Just the one.
Didn't we have Nana as there also, though?
Here it would fit.
Like a there was sense, or it was.
Oh, Mbangara is our chief word, yeah. Babitu.
So we go to lexicon.
Who had married?
Losses.
De la Villa. De la Villa.
Okay. I don't have there or this anywhere in here. Oh, sure, we had something like that. I'm going to go to text and words. I'm going to go to story 1 because I know it's right in the beginning. Nana, we have it as there in the word gloss, but we never changed it in the entry.
Okay, maybe just third possessive.
I'm going to change it to
there.
As the primary gloss, I'm going to change it to there. And I'm going to say existential there to clarify what we mean.
I was thinking it was THEY''re that you were saying before, but interesting.
No, but it's not, because then that would be like Nandi. Right, and now we've got this Tana as possessive. I believe that Nana is there. In fact, I kind of think that's what it is in Roviana, and that I've just been doing it wrong. I already thought it was, and it was already in the translation, but I kept trying to make it work. I thought it was a kind of subject agreement. For example, in the beginning of the stories that Pinge tells, often it's Kokwa Nana Sapopwa. So Koa, staying, Kokoa, I mean staying, Nana Sapopwa, in its places. It's really like long ago there was a place. Something like this. So potentially related to third singular clause. And so that's what I'm going to leave there in our dictionary. Let's go back. There we have it indeed. Our gloss is there. No, there's the new word gloss.
Is this there one giant? That's good.
All right. How do I delete other word glosses?
Oh, from the texts themselves?
Yeah.
Or the lexicon in the texts? Well, I guess you'd need you can't get rid of, once it's learned it won't get rid of it, but you just go to case by case where it occurs.
Yeah, that's really annoying though. That's one thing I would like to change. I bet there is a way if we mix with the lexicon long enough to figure it out, but
could be. But
maybe
you gotta,
under word analyses.
The purple stuff it represents what's in the lexicon, and the blue stuff is specific to an occurrence in the text. Right. Oh yeah, it is possible to delete those if I recall. Yeah, I have messed with that a little bit.
Yeah, I typically don't. It's typically one of those, I'll just solve it when I get there. But for the sake of this tutorial,
all of your bad guys. Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Oh, and I can delete it right here to the left. Delete gloss.
You are deleting. That's right.
Now, we know we're deleting it, and it's okay. And we might be wrong, and we'll come back and change that later.
Exactly.
Oh, we need to change Nana C now as well. So we're going to go back into word analyses.
Okay. There it is. A few lines below, the highlighted one.
There we go.
Alphabetical.
And this time we're just going to replace the word gloss with there. And that's it. I'm going to go back to my interlinear texts, and it's fixed.
Neat.
And so the chief was married.
Chief of V2. That
Yeah.
Elavia 2 hits. Elav. That's going to be. What is that? Is that marrying in?
Did we already get Elavia, I believe?
Vadi Elava in paragraph 8 of this text. That was the woman who was married into the V2 tribe. Right. Elava, Elavia is definitely that.
So this should be, we're going to say this is an allomorph of.
That's right. There it is, Mary.
So probably Elav is the underlying form and Elava is the actual allomorph.
With the root vowel echoed. Yes. He married. Okay.
Just so we'll have an idea, he marry it.
You English good.
Why use lot word when feud word do trick?
Inflection who need.
You explain to Joe.
Glasses,
Glasses, man. Okay.
This Vena is interesting. It looks like a relative pronoun here.
Where are we?
Zelavia Vena, the one who had married into the Maluku. They're relative of those of the Maluku. In 810.
Yeah, it really does. You know, we use WH words sometimes as relative pronouns in English too. I can say which one or that which I like or whatever.
I do it.
And I hear it, maybe it's a caricature of Southern speech or they really do it.
Which one?
I'm trying to think of an example that will be good and isn't a reference to a TV show, but you can use, I've heard people use what as that. I'm not going to get into it. It would be a big digression.
Oh, you know what? That's actually more common and widespread is I'll tell you what. That is, I will tell you something. To my ears, at least, that's how I take it. I'll tell you somewhat. For some in some dialects of English, it means something, which, if you know German, will seem really familiar. So you mean it has that indefinite or distributed meaning? Maybe not distributed, but that indefinite. That is how the story is of them. Again, a Vena.
I'm guessing that this D is
really a suffix.
Yes, that's what I'm guessing.
So you'll go to the box before it and link it. I mean, if you want, that would be a good thing to do. Could just be the vagaries of spelling, whether it's written.
Their story. Now, what's cool is we've got a difference between D and dia. And D we see is for inalienable things that like your body parts and such. And their story is inalienable. Inalienable means it like kind of can't be taken from them. You may forget their story, but it belongs to them in a way that cannot be separated by the universe because it's the truth.
That's right. Which is a neat distinction to make.
It's maybe very English cool.
Maybe English will develop something like it at some time in the future.
One of my favorite little anecdotes about this is that in Roviana, for my child, I would use Ngwa Komburu. Komburu meaning child. I think we got this in this. It's something Komboro. I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's Komboro, not Komburu. I Portuguesed it. I did my vowel changing stuff just to double check. We got the Roviana dictionary up. What is going on here? No, I don't want to edit that. Kombor.
Very small crab.
Komboro. Maybe it is Komburu. It sure is. I was saying it right. I just doubted myself.
A cricket.
Well, Komburu, so baby. Haha.
Baby.
Haha is baby.
Okay.
Komburu, which really is Komburu, and I'm not Portuguesing it, is child.
You are hypercorrect.
Komburu, my child. But when I talk about my mother, Tina, I would say Tinangu. Right? So your ancestors are inalienable.
That's right.
But your children are not.
Children.
Right. I would be my child's father no matter what they do, but they don't have to be my child forever. Right? Like, and I'm not sure if this is another I Laos, meaning it's just a historical coincidence, has no sort of insight or cultural reflection on anything, or if this is kind of a deep observation. I tend to read too much into languages because I study them so hard. But that would be my guess here, is that their story is inalienable to them. Not saying you can't lie about them, but just that the truth is inalienable to the people who experienced it.
Right.
And obviously this is a mythological story. Some things probably aren't factual in the reality, but in the constructed universe, that's the truth.
Don't study
I
a
mean,
language
maybe there
so
was a
hard
tribe that really... What's that?
Don't study a language so hard that you injure it.
Did you injure it?
Yeah. Don't study it too hard.
Okay, let's go fishing with nets.
Another time came to it again one time. So we have for Azai.
Immediately have Jolandi here. I'm separating the D. I already know that D is doing stuff.
Stay is that we have a verb stay there. Let's go fishing with it. It's Vangara. Ngara.
Bangara. Now,
Vangara. That looks causative to me. I have 4 hits for QARA, and they're all in these following sentences. Paragraph 10, yeah.
they're all Vangara, right? It's never QARA without the Va, right?
Is it? They do all have Vangara, so maybe not a. The causative tends to be written separately in this text.
That's right.
So
and it doesn't mean it wasn't a causative at one time.
True.
Now, what do you think Vangara means? Just guessing.
Go fishing. Or net. I would say net, noun, verb. Let's go net. It would be my guess. They went with the nets to the mouth of the...
I agree with you.
Koryovuku.
Just wanted to show.
Net.
This one I immediately recognized from Roviana, Vangara. So we now could make a list of, if we were careful with our words, we could start identifying Austronesian retentions. We could start saying these are words that clearly Roviana and Ghanongga shared at a certain point that are not retained from Oceanic, right? So this would be like a way of recognizing defining innovations. These are lexical innovations that happen, say, in the Western. Now you might go and say, all right, well, in Kokota, or in Isabel, Kokota is one of the languages in Isabel that they're supposedly more closely related to. But this would be a way of us starting to untangle what are the subgroupings here, just by looking at words. Vangara is almost certainly net. I'm going to change it to lowercase.
Very good.
I'm going to create an entry and say net.
Second one, yeah.
And it clearly means more than just net, what we're doing in English, because they say Vangara, they said, and let's go fishing with nets, they said. So Vangara is probably, in this case, the verb of fish with nets. I bet it's also the noun.
I netted a nice reward from that. For us meaning more to catch, but here it seems to be more volitional casting action. What about the Jolandi there? Those who were left. Does that be left over? Remain? Something like that? We have stay. Suvere. Those that stayed behind. Do we get it again?
Do we get Jola again?
Ooh.
One of one. Jola.
We do have.
Not going to be easy to solve. And in any case, I think we ought to put a pin in what we're doing and continue solving in the next video. So, dear listener, if you have ideas, I'm afraid to say that probably by the time you watch this video, we will have already recorded new ones. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't reach out and say, hey, I think that Ani means this. Tell us what you think.
Put it in the comments here.
Put it in the comments before you watch the next video. Otherwise, we'll think you're a genius. Meaning if they solve it and if they watch the next video and we've solved it and they come back, we'll assume you're a genius. And you probably are, dear listener.
Yes, everyone.
All right. With that, I'll say goodbye for now and I'll see you next time.
Adios.